Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay, members, we've got one thing done to help our children. Let's do another. Now, as you're aware, and as Mr. Frank mentioned earlier, the challenge of providing for Texas children that are in the state's care through CPS has been up front in the minds of Texans and the members of the legislature recently. Last year, the Speaker appointed a bipartisan work group to deal with the complex issues of improving the CPS agency and its delivery of services. After several months of meetings and exchanging ideas, one thing that was agreed upon by all was that the kinship care was the best way of caring for children in state conservatorship. These children have already faced a traumatic situation, and placing them in a stranger's home while issues are resolved at home can further exacerbate that experience. HB 4 will provide a foundation to continue to strengthen care provided by family members, or what is known as kinship care, versus foster parents, and in the process ensure that more children receive the love and care that is so vital to their upbringing. Historical outcomes demonstrate that children in kinship care are more likely to be placed with siblings. They feel more accepted, they're more secure, they feel loved, and they have fewer behavioral problems and are less likely to run away. Numbers also indicate that children placed in kinship care on average move less than twice, while their counterparts in foster to adopt care experience an average of 2.6 placements. Those aging out of care have an even higher average of 8.6 moves into different homes. Changes in placement directly impact results. Children in kinship placements have been shown to leave the state's care in just over 1 year, compared to foster children who spend over 2.5 years in state care, and 4.5 years on average for those that are aging out of care. Now, obviously, these results indicate that kinship care leads to better outcomes for children in the state's care, and frankly, it saves the state money. However, as much as we love our grandchildren, our nieces and nephews, the reality is that many families do not have the expense of caring for an additional family member built into their budget, sometimes making it impossible for family members to take these kids in at a moment's notice, if at all. That's another mouth to feed, another person to clothe, and can include many other unexpected changes in their daily life. We all want the best for each and every child in Texas, but the current design of kinship care program can present a barrier to achieving this goal. So, with that goal in mind, HB 4 changes the assistance that kinship families below the 300% federal poverty level receive from an initial integration payment to a monthly stipend. The monthly stipend provided under HB 4 cannot exceed 50% of the basic care rate that we currently pay to foster care families. Kinship care families that are between 300 to 500% of the federal poverty level will be eligible for the current integration payment and yearly reimbursement. Now, funding levels for these monthly kinship payments are going to be subject to the available funds in the appropriation process. Additionally, we owe it to the taxpayers of Texas to ensure that all funds are used responsibly. So this bill also includes protections against those who would abuse the system. HB 4 creates an offense for those who knowingly make a false statement that generates a situation where a relative takes custody of a child solely to access state funds. Currently in statute, an individual making a false abuse report can be criminally prosecuted. HB 4 simply mirrors this penalty currently in statute in Texas Family Code 261107 that addresses those who knowingly make a false report of abuse or neglect. I believe that HB 4 is a positive step to include families who are currently financially unable to participate in the kinship program while still protecting against deliberate abuse of taxpayer dollars and resources. And Mr. Speaker, I'm open to questions, or I have some amendments.